Great. Call the meeting to order this March 18th, 2026. Would you like to call roll or read the
Sure.
opening statement? We don't have anybody. Just call roll.
Yeah, call roll. Brian Hack,
Present.
Carmen Lundy,
Here.
Beth Cardenas,
Here.
Christina Jackson,
Here.
Tom Shea,
Here.
Lindsay Schaefer. Here. Greg Childers,
Here.
Jessica Spahn.
Here.
Thank you.
Would you like me to read the opening statement for the audio?
Nobody
There's
here,
nobody here, so I don't, okay.
not necessary.
Thank you.
We still need to swear in the witnesses, though.
Yes, yes. So we'll go ahead from roll call, we can swear in witnesses, and then we'll go to approval of minutes, if that works.
All right, anybody that's going to testify, please stand up, raise your right hand. I'm going to swear you under oath. You swear the testimony I'm about to give is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Much. I have the minutes from our last meeting, January 21st, 2026. Can I please have a motion to approve?
I move to.
Chair recognizes Ms. Cardenas for the first, Mr. Shea for the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes, minutes are approved. Okay, and before we get into it, I would like to recognize all of our new board members. I know, Lindsay, you were recognized
Yes.
last meeting, but again, welcome. You've now moved up here. Thank you again for your service. And Mr. Childers,
Yes.
thank you very much, and Mrs. Spahn.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, so we look forward to having you up here, and it takes a lot to put yourself out there, and I just want to say it's noted and very much appreciated, so thank you so much. Okay,
All right.
moving on.
We're going to go to old business. Non-compliance hearings, we have two. Number one, CEB 24-0248, City of Safety Harbor versus Rachel Thomas, Joseph Burton, and Ricky Burton, 660 10th Avenue North.
Sheriff, this is a property owner. Do we want to see if he wants to be sworn in, if he wants to speak? Just to be-
Yes, if you need a couple minutes to talk to him, yeah.
Is
go.
that okay?
Sure.
So,
My dyslexia. Uh-oh.
You want to pass this case because he's doing some other things and come back to it after the next case? Is that all right?
That's fine.
Okay, perfect. He has he's calling, he has someone coming, so.
Okay.
We'll touch base back with him.
Okay.
All right, so switch down to the second one. That is for CEB 24-0284. This is for the property at 112 Timberview Drive. The city offers an affidavit of non-compliance, a notice of hearing, an affidavit of posting and mailing for this case. If you need to catch up on what that was, please let me know and I can run through the notes I have on that.
It's a good idea since we have new folks, if you don't mind. Just
Absolutely,
High
absolutely.
level.
Absolutely. So this one was heard before you October 15th, 2025. They were found as first-time violators of Section 59A and 231A. Quick recap, 59 is excavation and fill permit requirements for a driveway that was installed. And 231 is the lack of valid building and public works construction permits. I'll pass around these pictures too, so you guys can catch a view of these.
These were pictures we've already seen.
Correct.
The
Yes.
October 15th, so just for the folks, they're not new evidence, it's already part of the hearing, it's just as a refresher for you to kind of get an idea of what this was.
Usually not on here. It's usually on an initial.
No, this is for the next case. Did those make it around to you guys, the pictures all the way around?
We're still looking at them.
Okay,
Almost.
making sure I wasn't behind.
Take your time.
So is that as the affidavit is making it around, Chair, you've had these tendered into evidence, so you need to rule on whether or not they're going to be received into evidence.
Yes, we can. They're fine to be received into evidence.
The pictures as well, or just the affidavits?
In evidence,
Okay.
yeah. Just the affidavit and the notice of hearing is what you tendered as well, correct? That's what's
Yeah,
coming
I-
around?
Tendered
Exhibit
the
one.
affidavit of compliance, notice of hearing, and affidavit of posting and mailing.
Yep,
Okay.
All right.
accepted into evidence, yes.
All right. So they've gone all the way through, so we just need a motion to accept the affidavit of noncompliance.
I move we accept the affidavit of noncompliance in CEB case 24-0284.
That's correct. Mhm. Okay, thank you, Ms. Cardenas. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. For noncompliance, we can do all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. Okay. Before we start the next one, do you need a moment to talk to them? Or are we good to swear in?
I think we're good, we can swear in.
Okay. Very good, okay. If you will both stand up, we'll have you swear in.
Stand up, raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you're about to give is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay, thank you.
The next affidavit we have is for CEB number 24-0248. This is for the property at 660 10th Avenue North. You'll notice in your packets, I did make a correction to this affidavit from the one that was originally published and sent out to you. My original inspection and compliance date, towards the end of the paragraph, I had listed as 17 November, and I was not here yet. I messed that up, it should have been 17 December. In your final order, the compliance date was 17 November. I checked with Mr. Trask. It shouldn't affect anything moving forward, as it is a non-compliance affidavit. With that, I offer the amended affidavit of non-compliance, the notice of hearing, affidavit of posting and mailing for case 24-0248. And I can give you a quick update on that one as well if you'd like.
Yes, so we don't have to worry about accepting, not accepting with them, right? They don't need to look at any of this.
They need to see the evidence before it's accepted, yes.
Did you believe they're going to come up for, okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Mine was already corrected. Mine has the right date. And they're both 2024.
Mentioned amendment. There are no legal objections.
Okay, board accepts.
That's it. 18 words.
asking for the order? Yeah. She has a copy of the order. Copy of the order was mailed to her.
No, I'm not the homeowner.
You're not,
I'm the individual that is hired.
did you not receive a copy of the order finding the
Are you
violation?
asking me or you? I don't have it, that's not my matter.
Sir, you did not receive a copy? That was mail,
I
certified
think
mail.
they're mailing it to the
So we mail it to the mailing address that's listed on the Property Appraiser website. So if that mailing address is outdated, you have to contact Pinellas Property Appraiser and ensure that that mailing address is updated. Because
That makes sense, but is it in the file?
Okay, we need to stop. No. This is a non-compliance hearing. We're not going to have people speaking from the audience to the board. It's just not going to happen. So if the city is done presenting its non-compliance information, then we're going to have the alleged violator, the violator step up, make any presentation he wants as to whether the property is in compliance or not. We're not going to rehear the case. We're not going to provide additional evidence to the property owner. They should be prepared to present their case today. Okay?
Chair, would you like me to give you a brief background on this one as well?
No, I think we're okay.
You okay?
Yeah.
Okay, no pictures?
Yeah, we're good. We can move forward with this one.
Okay, perfect.
We want to go ahead and call, are you calling a witness? How is this going? What are we doing with the compliance? Okay,
So the property owner now should be called up.
okay. So we'll treat them as it's respondent, normal protocol. Okay. You can come forward. You've already been sworn in. So like Mr. Trask said, the hearing has already taken place. So this is the part where there was a date set. So if you were in compliance or not compliance, that's really what your, I don't want to call it testimony, but that's really what you're here to explain to the board before we make a motion of compliance or non-compliance.
Okay, well, with all due respect, my name is Lady March Goldwire. I was contacted by Mr. Burton to help him remedy this situation. I am a licensed building official for the state of Florida and a private provider rendering service here. I can attest to the fact that when I was brought on board, that we reached out to Safety Harbor. They issued a permit. It was paid for. Apparently, there's a double layer process here with Pinellas County. And because this property is in a FEMA zone and there were some declarations as to its state, there was some additional legwork that needed to be done. That included registering the roofer that he wished to use with Pinellas. Now, you have one point person at Pinellas, and it has been very difficult. But I had a series of emails from her spanning the last 3 or 4 months saying that it's been difficult. She's the only one in the office. She'll contact us back, and that's where that has sat. I understand that Mr. Trask doesn't feel that it's pertinent to kind of get me apprised on what else has happened, but it's very difficult to state my case without being able to see the non-compliance order. Now, what I traditionally do when I meet up with municipalities and present before boards, they lay it out in such a way that I'm at least able to, even if I can't keep the copy for my own records, I would be able to come in here and speak to some degree of familiarity. I have not seen the non-compliance order, and I think it's a little unfair to have taken the position that he has. But since where we are now is a matter of compliance and non-compliance, I can tell you that I'm very well versed on what the statutes require with regard to getting him into compliance, and I'm super willing and uber willing to do this. Mr. Burton is from Palm Beach County. His sister is the owner of record. It just recently transitioned to him, but we travel from Palm Beach County. I happen to work in Tampa 3 days out of the week, and I'm able to offer some aid. I just need to understand how we come into compliance. This hearing seems to be cart before the horse, determining whether or not we're compliant or not, but I still don't know how to back up and get to the space of compliance, not having seen it. What I will tell you is there was a permit pulled. It appears that the scope of work was understated. That was an error of mine. But what happened after that was there being some uncertainty as to what exactly they wanted us to cure. Is it the roof? Is it the property in its entirety? The blight issue, I have no association with. I'm just trying to get the building so that it's permitted, we can get it structurally sound and move forward. So I yield to your authority, but that's pretty much my posture here, and I just want to figure out how I can help you.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
When did you get involved? What
I
the
was
date?
contacted in November.
And once you were contacted, did you get in touch with our code
I
enforcement?
spoke to, not the code, but I worked closely with your building code administrator. I believe she's the clerk up front. I have the series of emails with us back and forward. There was a permit issue and paid. What was not clear was this layer of Pinellas County's involvement. I don't think we understood. After the Christmas holiday, those conversations started happening when we realized that there was in fact 2 permits needed, not 2 permits relative to the discipline, but 2 permits relative to him needing one for the municipality and him needing one for the county. Since that time, and in the last month, I believe his sister was notified that the scope of work needed to be redeclared, and it needed to include a full demo permit, replacing the truss system, putting the new roof back on. That's a whole lot different than a re-roof, and so it looks different with regard to quoting, the material availability with right now with everything that's going on is a little choppy, and just working through that process. So again, I understand that we're at the space of non-compliance and declaring whether or not there should be penalties associated with that, but I didn't want him to come in here today and it come across as if there's been no effort to try to get to a space. With the distance, Palm Beach County works a lot different. There's some digital components, uploading documents. You can do a lot of that stuff virtually. With a lot of the stuff here, you have to physically drive in or mail a copy. It's a small city, so I understand. I've dealt with those before, but there's just some different ways to get to the end. And so I want to help him do that with a full understanding of what exactly the ask is.
Last question for me, and then I'll yield to Ms. Cardenas. In your experience, how much longer, how much more time do you think you need based on the correspondences that you've had so far?
Well, right now I have talked to him about us having to maybe downsize what we're going to do in terms of the material we'll be using. In the next week and a half, 2 weeks, we've been notified by the supplier that with regard to shingles and some other things that we need, it may be problematic in terms of getting it. I think a fair amount of time would be 60 days.
Ms. Lundy?
You mentioned something about the selected roofer. Is there a reason? Did that get straightened out? Is that person
No,
now?
the roofer was fine. It's just that with a re-roof permit, you only need the roofer as the qualifier. But as the code enforcement officer or building officer came by, they looked at the condition of the truss system, and the wood system is just so that there needs to be some additional engineering, some drawings, because you can't put the roof shingle overlay on a bad foundation. Well, it's not the foundation, but roof foundation.
And this roofer you had wasn't qualified, you had to,
No, the roofer is fine. The roofer, there was
I'm
no
asking
issue with the
about-
roofer. What
okay.
happens is with Pinellas County, you can register here, but in Pinellas County, you have to register with Pinellas County as a roofer. He's a state licensed roofer, so there's
Okay.
just a remittance of documents. But I don't know what's going on in your Pinellas County Licensing Board office, but it literally sounds like when I talk to her, that there's maybe 1 or 2 people, you leave a message and it works that way, as opposed to in other municipalities, you upload everything you need digitally, they correspond, you get it back, it's not working that way here. And again, I can show you the many communications that I've had with the young lady, and she just said she hadn't got to it yet. She has all of the documents for the roofer, the general liability insurance, the workers' comp, the state license, everything that she needs. Naming Pinellas County as the license holder, I'm not sure what that delay is. But without her turning on that system, we can put in permit applications all day long. It's not an issue for Safety Harbor, but if they don't do it on Pinellas County's end and accept what Safety Harbor has given us, we're gonna be where we are. And I can tell you, my pipeline, I have so many of these in the pipeline, because people just would rather deal with the IRS than code enforcement, honestly. They're afraid, right? It just backs up. And so, once I hit this and I'm giving it everything I got, when I go to the next case for me, then when I circle back, I get to it. Now that this is so serious, you know, the only other thing I can do is drive over to Pinellas County, but they don't take walk-ins for the licensing department. So that might be something that, as a board, someone can issue, because I'm sure I'm not the only one that's reported that they have some communication issues or fall-throughs with the licensing department.
Just go back to the 60 days for 1 second. That is for completion of the construction on the roof you think will be done in 60
So the
days?
60 days that we're asking for is to obtain the permit, obviously contingent on some cooperation from Pinellas County, and that is to shore up the system, the truss system that we have, and then apply the shingle roof. We're going back with shingle, right? With the asphalt shingle roof material.
Okay.
I would remind the board, this is a compliance, non-compliance hearing. There is no other matter for you to consider today. So you either need to determine whether the property is in compliance or it's not in compliance. That's your role today.
Okay, any other questions?
I have a question. With regard to deciding non-compliance or non-compliance, what does that exactly mean in this city, in this municipality? Non-compliance declared means what by way of fines? Because if you do declare it non-compliant, my next question or my follow-up is historically, what is the industry practice for how you apply the fines? What is the penalty for non-compliance in this instance? Mr. Trask.
Do you want me to answer your questions?
Yep, you can, if
Okay.
you want to.
So we don't normally answer questions from the witnesses.
Maybe so the fines, if you were in non-compliance and we find it in non-compliance, the fines state and they start running based on that date.
So the 60 days, after day 60, or day 61, the fines would begin. Is that how it works, or does the fines accrue leading up through the 60 days? And if they do, is there an abatement process or an application process? And there ought to be, let me just insert this. As someone who pays taxes into a municipality, there should be an allowance to inquire. I don't know what the posture is, but I want to say, outside of being a witness, I'm a building code professional. I run a building department each and every day. And when people come in and they don't understand, I have a ministerial duty to answer the questions and not take the position that we are in this space or the other. That's the whole point of having these sorts of things. This is a quasi-judicial space. And so I recognize that you guys see a whole lot of people all the time, but there's one case here right now, and I need all of the information so that I can give him the best possible outcome so that we don't have to come back.
I'm happy to provide you with my information,
Thank you.
and I can speak to you tomorrow,
No problem.
okay?
And I'll reach out.
And I can explain the whole process to you.
Thank you, Ms. Davis.
You're welcome.
And again, I think that might be kind of where it's getting a little lost, just you not understanding the history of the case, because we've extended compliance dates for this one.
Okay.
Also, it's happened last year, we extended it again. So I think that might be kind of where you're lacking.
Well, listen,
is
I
just-
want you to be clear, I'm an enforcer.
Yeah.
So I understand the importance of enforcement. I do it every day. I apply fines and I enforce them every day. So I just needed to understand, and I was under the impression that the board would be positioned to help me do that, but I will reach out to Ms. Bandy and ask for your consideration for what I say. Great, if you don't, we just back into where we are.
I think we answered the questions. Yeah. Any further, we're good? Okay, we can sit down. Thank you. Okay, so how this works, for compliance, non-compliance, we'll have a first motion, a second motion, and then we typically go to all in favor if we feel like there's a discussion needed before we all vote. It goes in order of who makes the motions. So the person who makes the first motion gets to speak first as to why they did what they did, and then the second person, just so you guys kind of understand. If you make a motion, you'll be up first to explain. Okay, so can I have a motion for affidavit of non-compliance?
I'll move that in case number CEP 24-2.0284, that we accept the affidavit of noncompliance.
Second.
Okay,
0248.
0248, my apologies.
yeah, we went into different order.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so for the record, for Ms. Bandy, Mr. Shea gave the first motion, and Ms. Cardenas gave the second. Okay, again, typically, we don't have discussions, but we do have people here, and we have new folks, so do you want to?
I have nothing to.
Okay. So
I
we'll-
have a discussion.
Yes.
So just for my own
Yes.
understanding, there is nowhere, once a non-compliance, and I guess this for all of us to learn, if, has already been set, that a discussion can be made for consideration.
Can we amend the original?
Can we amend the original for consideration of what's going on?
So I'll answer it a different way if I can. So we did change the compliance date last time this came before us, and we
Right.
changed it to give more time because we heard the case about
Right.
family and change of ownership, and there was a lot that had to be done to get the property into compliance. So
Correct.
I appreciate your question about 60 days. Is that enough to do all the code violations? So we can change the date again here. We can do that again and give more time again and just kind of kick it down the road, or we rule that it is not in compliance, and then it continues down the process of appeals and dialogues, but it's no longer here with us. Am I explaining that the right way?
You cannot be considering a request to extend time. That's not before you today. There's no petition, there's no motion, there's no request. So unless the city does that, or the applicant does that in the future, and the other side has the opportunity to prepare, and it's not before you today. So you can talk about the 60 days, but it's not before you today. You cannot do that today legally.
But I just asked if it'll be amended. Thank you for the answer. I'm not trying to do
trying to be
anything that
difficult.
we're not supposed to do. I just didn't know if, as we asked, can it be amended at this point?
Not
And
at
the
this
answer
hearing.
is no.
Not at this hearing, no. Okay.
We did that at the last one. We amended.
Okay,
So I didn't totally answer your question, sorry.
thank you.
That's my story of where we were. Yes. So, we have a motion for noncompliance, we have a second for noncompliance. We can take it to a roll call vote. Ms. Bandy?
Brian Hack,
Aye.
Carmen Lundy,
Aye.
Beth Cardenas,
Aye.
Christina Jackson,
Aye.
Tom Shea,
Aye.
Lindsay Schaefer,
Aye.
Greg Childers.
Aye.
Okay, 7-0.
Motion for noncompliance passes 7-0. Do we want to do a summary for them? I mean,
I
what their next
can.
steps could be down City Hall?
Yeah, so the Code Enforcement Board has considered whether the property was in compliance or non-compliance. Based upon the affidavit of non-compliance and the testimony today, the Code Enforcement Board has found that the property is not in compliance as of the compliance deadline. The compliance deadline was November 17th. Therefore, the fine began to run on November 18th and will continue to run until the property is brought into compliance. There will be an order entered, and it will be issued within about the next 10 days, right, Liz? Yeah, okay. And the order is going to be sent to 3433 3rd Avenue South, Unit 14, St. Petersburg. Okay?
Yes, And does she have your contact information?
Yes.
Ms. Sandy? Okay, so you guys have circled back. Ms. Gabriel, she knows how to get in contact with you through.
I have not spoke with her yet, but I would love to catch up after the meeting.
Okay,
If
very
that's-
good.
if you guys don't mind. Okay, perfect, thank you.
All right, so Ms. Sandy, following the agenda, that wraps up old business.
Correct.
Yeah, so any public comments? Committee member comments? Very good. Again, thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to serving together. With that, we will go ahead and adjourn at 7:05.